It is Mother's Day. And I want to wish a very happy Mother's Day to all the ladies out there. All the women that are doing the tough job of raising a child. The first topic of the day, I don't know how many of y'all have watched the roast of Tom Brady. I did. And I laughed my ass off. It was one of the funniest things I've seen in so long. He would go up there, give the high five. He looked like a 10-year-old going to his favorite athlete to ask for a autograph. I mean, there was a massive height difference. Even on Gronk, he was barely over his waist. Like, Gronk could have been doing some stuff. I mean, weird. Like, Kevin Hart was about to just like 2 inches from be like, uppies, come on, up. All right, welcome to this week's Be About It podcast. Thank you for joining in. If this is your first time, podcast that talks a little bit about everything, whatever's current, whatever's happening. We have no other things in mind except for just enjoying ourselves, having fun, and bringing a little news. Maybe you haven't heard a lot of things. So whenever you hear some topics maybe you haven't heard of, we dig a little deep, we do the research, we have a little fun. And by we, I mean me. Yes, I'm a solo act. At least for right now, till I find that perfect co-host, which one day I know I will find. All right. Now, if you haven't been to the website yet, it's www.beaboutitpodcast.com. Post videos there regularly. Sometimes you get some videos that I have not posted to TikTok, YouTube, or anything. It is website friendly. Yes, it's fun. It's good. Just started it, so judge harshly. It's me, myself, and I. I'm still learning that. That's my first website build. But outside of that, we have a big day today. Now, tomorrow, depending on when you're listening, it is Mother's Day. And I want to wish a very happy Mother's Day to all the ladies out there. All the women that are doing the tough job of raising a child and had to go through the unbearable birthing process to bring that life into this world. You deserve more credit than you get. Today is your day. And I hope that you have a wonderful, or had, depending on when you're listening again, a wonderful Mother's Day, because you deserve it. Of all the things that the mothers do for us throughout the year, and it is not including just cooking, cleaning, and all that good stuff, they are our emotional support. They are the person we go to when we need that extra hand, when we need that pat on the back, or just whenever we need to feel safe for a moment. Mom is always that one. At least it has been for me in my time. The best feeling in the world was when my mom, I was raised by my grandmother, and when she never missed one of my football games growing up. I still remember this to the day. She missed one, and she had 104 fever, and she tried to go, but couldn't make it. So I never have forgotten that. It stuck with me the entire life of mine, to where I want to give that same support to my child. No, I am not a mother, but I do wish a lot of people, the mother of my daughter, I wish her a happy Mother's Day. I was like, my mother alone as well. She is sitting out there. I got to give her a little shout out. Thank you for giving me life and bringing me into this world, and you're welcome, world, for that happening for her. I know she says you're welcome there. I also have been blessed with a stepmother for the better majority of my life, so happy Mother's Day to my stepmother as well. For the ones that I'm missing, I still miss every day. My grandmothers, they were such a big portion of my life, and I always never failed to wish them a happy Mother's Day. So now that we have had that, and I hope you are listening, if you have not wished your mother a happy Mother's Day, and for the ones that have lost their mothers, it's still okay to wish your mother a happy Mother's Day. I do that as well. It's nothing wrong with it. But for those of you who have your mothers around, enjoy every minute. You never know when they're going to leave you. So wish them a happy Mother's Day. Spend a few minutes talking to them. See how their day, their week, their month, their year has been going. That's all they ask. Something so simple after raising us and giving us so much time. So hope everybody has a happy Mother's Day, and we're treated like the queens that y'all are. Yes, I know the burden of parenthood, and y'all burden it so elegantly. So now that we got that, let's get on to the next topic. The first topic of the day, I don't know how many of y'all have watched the roast of Tom Brady. I did, and I laughed my ass off. It was one of the funniest things I've seen in so long. And I'm a tough guy to crack up. I mean, I really am. I'm consider myself comical. I like to have fun, play jokes, things like that. So making me laugh is tough, but this thing had me rolling the entire time. So if you have not watched it, you might want to pause and go watch it real quick, then come back, listen to the rest of this, because I'm going to have some spoilers. It started off with Belichick talking. Yes, Captain Smiley himself. Yeah, of course. And he was talking to somebody who had their back to the camera, of course, saying, this is your night. Everybody wants you. But it's not your night. We're going to go with Tom. And he turns around, and it is Drew Bledsoe, which, if you are familiar with Tom Brady, Drew Bledsoe is a quarterback that Tom Brady took the starting role from and never gave it back. So greedy, Tom, so greedy. I can't believe it. So, and he's like, what the hell? Not again. And so, because, you know, it was kind of a good play on how it happened. So it was all good fun starting from the very beginning. So you have that little opening. Then you have Rich Eisen coming out to introduce Kevin Hart. Wow. And, you know, I'm a Kevin Hart fan. I think he is one of the funniest comedians out there. He puts everything he's got into it. He does not do nothing but make things better. Even whenever he plays a little bit more of a serious role, he's still got that little edge. Funny, he's a great actor. I think he's one of the best ones going today. But the stars were out plenty in this. They had the round tables, everybody set up, some Kardashian, Dana White, few actors that came out. A lot of football players that have played over the years actually joined and got into it. So, but Kevin Hart, flat out awesome in this host. He killed it. He nailed this host. I hope we see Kevin Hart host more roast. And I was like, yeah, well, I'm a poet. Didn't know it. But Kevin Hart, he took total control of the whole thing, made everything great, perfect. I was not disappointed, and he never missed a appointment to say "F you, Tom." 100 times that night. I don't know. That was a theme. I think he should have some shirts made for that. But Kevin Hart going through there now. He comes out. They introduce Tom Brady coming out, looking like the most humble GQ model in the history of GQ models. I mean, he's coming out saying, "No, thank you. Oh my God, thank you. Oh my God, humble, thank you." No, yeah, it's Tom Brady. We know he ain't humble. Not with 7 rings. No, he ain't humble. He's just pretending. He's acting because he knows everybody's going to chew his ass for the rest of the night. So, this wasn't on Comedy Central. This was on Netflix, which Netflix is starting to broaden their horizon, doing a few live things, testing the waters, because we got some stuff coming to Netflix in the next year. WWE is starting in 2025, going to be on Netflix Live every week on Raw. So that's a big change. So Netflix is going to dabble in the live things. They're becoming like a big network. Now, of course, after Kevin Hart gets on there, does his little thing, he picks on a few people in the crowd. He then goes to introduce the first roaster of the evening, which was Jeff Ross. Roast Master General Jeff Ross. If you have watched any roast, he is on everything. That's what he is famous for, plain and simple. That man, if he was coming to town, you'd be like, who the hell is Jeff Ross? But then, you see him on the roast, you're like, oh, it's that guy. Okay, I got it. Yeah, he comes out wearing a blue sparkly jersey with a number 32 and flames on it. We all know the reference. Man, he dug straight into OJ, that one. Man, from the very get-go. Then he just rips it off like it's nothing. But yeah, he was strolled out wearing that. I was like, oh, damn, this is going to be bad. Nope, it's going to be real bad. So Jeff Ross, he gets his set going, goes on, and starts off, of course, bashing the OJ. Oh, yeah. Then he picks on a few people. But where he made his mistake was he was making a little reference. Like, Tom came into the office and made his comment, and then he was like, and would you like a massage shirt? And then this is the only time that Tom Brady stood up, walked over, and said, don't say that shit again. And he was like, all right. And, it was part of his set. He probably wrote that joke thinking, okay, nothing is off limits on this. So that is where we're going. So you see all this through that, and Tom comes up to protect his daddy. Yes, he protected Big Daddy Kraft over there. You know, he played for the man for 20 years. I mean, he has a relationship with him. So, yeah, I think he was a little bit more partial. Do not make any mistakes on that. But, by the way, the only thing I did 100% agree is Jeff Ross is picking Tyson over Paul, July 20th on Netflix. Yes, I'm going to go into that a little bit next week. I was like, because I am so excited on the Tyson Paul fight. But that's next week. We can't go so much into that today. So you got Jeff Ross and a few other people coming. Now, the one who stole the show entire night, if you did not see, if you go back and watch Chelsea's set, she killed it. She put everybody else to shame. Hers 100% was the best. Laughed the entire way through. Had to take 2 drinks because I was coughing up and I thought I was just going to die because I couldn't catch my breath. She was that great, but especially her little tone like, Gronk no not real money. It was making fun of Gronk because, you know, everybody made fun of how dumb Gronk is, apparently. I was like, I don't know, man. Maybe he should have stayed the extra couple years in college or something. Got a little extra time in there. But that even cracked Kevin Hart. It took Kevin Hart about 2 minutes to recompose and be like, I can't. He got to get back into it. But she killed it. She nailed it. She was the best roaster of the night. Beautiful as well as amazing comedian. Now, they did introduce a few celebrities out there. Kim Kardashian was in, which, by the way, was the worst roaster of the night. It was the absolute worst roaster of the night, Kim Kardashian. I don't know what she was trying to do. I don't know if she was trying to be funny. It just wasn't. But she was not great. She was not good at all. And there was boos for her, which... for whatever reason you're booing her, I'm okay with that. I'm not a fan of Kardashian. I was not keeping up with the Kardashians. I was not in on that lifestyle. That was not me. Sorry. But yeah, she got some booze, sat back down. Nobody noticed. It was all good. Now, one of the biggest surprises, they had surprise guests come out for the night. One of the biggest being Mr. San Diego himself, Ron Burgundy. Ron Burgundy made his appearance in the roast of Tom Brady. Yes, if you have not heard, Will Ferrell came out full Ron Burgundy, get up, everything going. And he nailed it again. I mean, Will Ferrell is the professional when it comes to that kind of stuff. He nails it. He stays in character all the way through. It doesn't matter what he's talking about, what everybody else is doing. He stayed the course, the character. Man, I would love to. There should be a game show out there. Say, can you make Will break character? And everybody gets to try to break Will out of character to make him laugh in the middle of something. Because, man, that must be impossible to do. But Ron Burgundy goes through his little set, has a little fun, just to introduce Captain Smiles himself, Bill Belichick. Yes, the former Patriots coach and unemployed coach at the moment. Couldn't even get a job with a high school, apparently. Belichick came out and... you know, he has one of the creepiest smiles. I mean, we saw him smile at this. And I was just like, oh, dude, that's unnatural. Dude, just stick to the scowl. I was like, nobody can deal with your smiley. Belichick does not have the greatest smile out there. Sorry, it ain't it. But you know one thing, he did tell some good jokes. He I'm sure they were all written for him, but he delivered on a few of the other ones, and they were great. So, and he actually looked around like... y'all are laughing? Y'all are smiling? I'm doing good? He looked shocked and surprised that he actually told jokes and people liked it. I was just like, okay, yeah, man, Belichick, good. You nailed it. Go, keep going. Have at it. Let's go. So, but, you know, eventually all that did come to Gronk. Now, let me tell you about Gronk. Gronk was basically a 10-minute long dick joke. I mean, there was, don't get me wrong, there was dick jokes galore all night. I don't know why. I was like, but, I mean, apparently that was the theme, especially with Julian Edelman. Edelman came out there and was like, yes, I would happily, want to be like Tom Brady. Yes, I will use, I bet you Julian Edelman steals Tom Brady's used towels just so he can rub a little bit of that greatness off on him. But, Gronk gets up there and was hilarious. You could tell he wrote a few of them jokes himself, because the ones that and here's how you know that Gronk wrote the joke. He didn't have to read it, because the ones that he was reading, you could see the concentration on his face. as he was reading, and he had to make sure that he nailed it. Yeah, I mean Gronk was like that, but the ones that he wrote was saying pure out, go for it. I was like, then Gronk finishes, and he finishes saying, "I've never had a drink with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick." So they have some shot glasses underneath, and they pull out that. Now this is the cool thing. Yes, they all three have a shot together. I was like, of course, Gronk had some trouble finding it. He pulled out a few other things that were for later. And Kevin Hart making the comment, "Man, I told y'all not to leave him up there alone by himself. Come on, get over there, help his ass out." So he finally gets the shot glasses, pours the shots. They all take a shot. Now, in true Gronk fashion, he takes his, which looked like a nice, expensive shot glass, and does his tomahawk spike, as true Gronk would do. So he does. Once he finishes that, then it was like, all right, we did it. Have fun. I'm going to sit back down. Now, Kevin Hart had to remind him what he was doing the whole time because I think Gronk got a little confused. He was drinking a little bit of that sauce, which they also, speaking of sauce, they had Bert Kreischer up there, which hilarious comedian. But at the same time, I mean, you could tell he was on the sauce too because he was bright red, laughing. He couldn't get through his little set with what's his name, and they were just joking, and he had to turn around several times because he was just cracking up at his own jokes. I mean, it was a funny night. I mean, and everybody was crapping. Sometime they had to take a moment to recompose, reset, and do it. But after hearing Gronk's set, though, you can always assume that in every playbook that Tom Brady and Gronk had, there was at least one play called "Where's Gronk," where he was supposed to go left, and like, I don't know where right or left. I thought I did go. I was like, and just like find him and throw it to him, because Gronk as an athlete was awesome. The man could catch, he can run, he can take a hit, he can run over people. Probably just couldn't read all the plays. So he was just one that just got to wander out there and do what he wanted to. But there was also celebrities that came out. The one of them that came out was that I remember the most was Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck came out because they were co-stars in the Dunkin' Donuts commercial. I'm sure we all saw that in the Super Bowl. So Ben Affleck came out, does his little thing, but I didn't, he was okay for the most part. I mean, but, it wasn't his cup of tea. The one thing I did notice at the end of Ben Affleck's set, he goes through and he is now most everybody else was like, okay, thanks for being a good sport, shaking Tom's hand, give him a hug if they're players, things like that, but not Ben Affleck. Not Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck walked straight back to the back like, I'm Ben Affleck, bitch. I mean, he was like one of those type things. I mean, I was kept on waiting for him to say Rick James, bitch. Rick James moment. But yeah, Ben Affleck, bitch, and you're just Tom Brady. Screw that. So that's what I kind of got the little vibe from him, just walking back. I was like, and having the fun and walking straight to the back. And then they wrap it up with a few big names. I was like, Robert Kraft gives his little love and appreciation for Tom Brady. Then, Peyton Manning comes out, and we all got to have fun with this one because Peyton, as of course, were rivals and with Tom Brady, but started a nice little chant among them with saying that he is Eli's bitch. And started the chant among everybody, Eli's bitch, Eli's bitch. Because yes, Tom, you were great, but you could never beat Eli in the Super Bowl. That's just Tom's kryptonite in the Super Bowl. If he ever had to face a Manning, he lost. So, and then you wrap it up with Tom coming up there, and he does his best. He does. He really does try to roast everybody. But, he can't be the greatest at everything, so he's just going to have to stick. Of course, his new deal with Fox, I believe, being a broadcaster, which I'm sure everybody's going to watch to see how he does on that, which I'm sure he'll nail. Let's face it, it's Tom Brady. It's football. He knows his stuff. So, Tom, I was like, gets up there, roast everybody to the best of his ability, and be done. Now the one thing let me mention one thing else. Kevin Hart, while great performance, great sets, great comedy, all the way through. Every time he would walk up to a NFL player or Tom Brady, Gronk, Randy Moss, all of them, he would go up there, give the high five. He looked like a 10-year-old going to his favorite athlete to ask for a autograph. I mean, there was height difference. Even on Gronk, he was barely over his waist. Like Gronk could have been doing some stuff. I mean, weird. Like Kevin Hart was about to just like 2 inches from be like uppies, uppies, come on, uppies. I mean, that and they probably would have picked him up and be like, come on, little guy, let's go. I'm sure he had a stool behind that. There's no way he was that high up, like as far as everybody else. But that was the roast of Tom Brady. It was hilarious. If you have not watched it, go to Netflix. It's now available for repeat. Play it to your heart's content. Like I said, a lot of adult humor. Watch it out for kids. It is mature audiences, or in some cases, immature parents. One of the two. But feel free, have fun, enjoy it. So let's take a little break, and then we're going to come back. And I'm going to wrap up. I got a chance to watch a movie last night, one that I've been waiting for a long time, and I finally got to sit down and watch it. And I'll be right back in a second. All right, and welcome back, everybody. So I hope you enjoy that. Now that I got a chance to watch a movie, which is a rare thing in my household. I never get to pick the movie, but the daughter went camping with her mother for Mother's Day, so I was left and I had control of the remote. So what to do? What to do indeed? I've watched The Iron Claw. I have been dying to watch this movie. I grew up in DFW. I was incredibly familiar with the Von Erichs. I went to the Sportatorium as a kid several times. It was an amazing place, full of energy, and they really captured everything about it. Now, if you are not familiar with the Iron Claw, it is about one of the wrestling's royalty families, the Von Erichs. Patriarch being Fritz, then you had Michael, Kevin, Carrie, and David. Of course, there was another one that died a little bit earlier in childbirth. Now, it goes into a lot of what it really kind of hones in on is there was always a rumor or a thought that the Von Erichs were cursed because so much bad happened to this family. The mother had to bury all but one of her sons. Fritz couldn't ever win the big one. He stayed in the business forever. Now, as a promoter, Sportatorium was one of the territories, and everybody came into this. A lot of people would come here every single Friday to see what's going to happen next. It was a big deal. They put on shows at the old Texas Stadium in Irving. The wrestling in Dallas was one of the hot spots, and I don't think a lot of people knew that. But before WWE, it was all territories. So you went to different spots, different things. If you wanted to go to this territory, they had to recruit you, or you had to make some calls, get up to it. And it really focuses on the business end of wrestling. What Fritz was doing at the time, where all these kids wound up to, why they became how they were. It was an emotional, and it's told through the eyes of Kevin Von Erich, the only one that's still alive. And now there are Von Erichs still wrestling today. Von Erichs are kind of like the Rhodes family. They are wrestling famous. Ric Flair, Charlotte Flair, David Flair before he passed. There is people that are always synonymous with wrestling, and their families are always tied into it, like the Bloodline, Roman Reigns, and all them. The whole family that's tied into the Bloodline is true to fact. It's a large. So this kind of digs into that, and it shows the different things, where Kevin went, how he got up to where he wanted to, how their father really screwed them over as far as mentally, because it was very well known. Fritz played mind games, and he put a lot of pressure on his boys to perform because that's what he wanted. That's what he needed from wrestling. He wanted to be the number one. He wanted Von Erich to be the name when it come to wrestling. Overall, everything. Nobody wanted to come into the wrestling world without going through a Von Erich. So, that being said, it is a drama. Now, it's an entertaining drama. I mean, there's a lot of good, because it shows the love that these brothers had each other, and which it was kind of like they were loving and they leaned on each other because there wasn't a lot of support coming from the father. Mainly just like, hey, you're the favorite, you're going to get the push. You're the favorite now, you're getting the push. He played favorites, and he didn't shy about. You knew who his favorite was because he told you. And these boys fought for their attention, and I did not know the deep history to this, and I don't know how much of it was true, how much Kevin Von Erich had in this, but apparently he had a good chunk into it. Even Chavo Guerrero helped with the training of the actors in this movie, so he can be a little bit better, a little bit more authentic. It is actually a great movie. There are some tearjerker moments in this, and it's hard to hold them back. I don't care how rough and tough you are as far as a wrestling wrestling fan, whatever, you will not be able to hold some of these tears back. I mean, it's going to hit you in the feels no matter what. So, but as far as overall entertaining historical accuracy, I was wondering how they use CGI because the sportatorium look that they had actually reminded me of whenever I was a kid. It took me back a little bit. So, because like I said, I went there as a kid, had fun in the 80s. It was wonderful. Some of the best times I saw some wrestlers before they were WCW or WWE. But if you haven't got a chance to watch the Iron Claw, stop for a minute. Take 2 hours, 10 minutes out of your day and watch it. It's good. It's entertaining, especially if you are a wrestling fan. You need to watch this movie because it is wrestling history. And with one of the most famous names in wrestling, the Von Erichs, the Iron Claw. So, with that note, I'm going to wrap up this week. We had some fun. Of course, again, if y'all are just tuning in, if you haven't been to the website, go check out the website, www.beaboutitpodcast.com. That's BEABLUTIT podcast.com. I keep it simple. It's right up there. Be about it. So if you haven't had a chance to go check it out, go check it out. You can follow, subscribe. I'm not asking for money. It is one of those things. It's just part of the show. I'm enjoying it, having fun. I'm going to get some advertisers in there down the line, and you'll see this page kind of blow up a little bit more. So get ahead now so you don't miss out. Thanks for everybody on TikTok for listening in, having fun with us. Thanks for the love and likes I got. But till next week, like I said, we're going to go through a little bit more into this time. Some few other things we're going to talk about. A lot of things happen. A lot of beef going on in the hip-hop world. Has anybody else been noticing that? Man, it seems like that's all that's been talked about. I'm going to dig a little deep. I want to get some facts. I don't want to get rumors. I want facts. So I'm going to do a little digging on that, and I'm going to come back with a nice show for that. So, till next week, have a great Mother's Day. Have a great week. And, of course, don't talk about it. Be about it.